had been a coward all her life, particularly about finances. She worried all the time about money. She came into this truth, realized how she had limited herself, and suddenly made the giant swing into faith. She commenced to trust God and not the externals of her supply. She followed her intuitive leads about spending. If any of her clothes made her feel poor, she would discard them at once, getting something new to make her feel rich. She had very little money, but gave 1/10 to good works. She was winding herself up into a new vibration. Very soon things commenced to change on the external. A woman on whom she had no claim, who was merely an old friend of her family, left her $1,000. A few months later, another 1,000 came in. Then a big door opened for her supply, and many thousands came in. She had tapped her invisible supply from the bank of the universal. She had looked to God only for her supply. Then the channels opened. The point I am bringing out is that she had lost all anxiety about money matters. She had established in her subconscious the firm conviction that her supply came from God, and it never failed. Man is an instrument for infinite intelligence to work through. It will express through him as success, happiness, abundance, health, and perfect self-expression, unless fear and anxiety make a short circuit. If we want examples of fearless faith, go to the circus. The circus people perform seemingly impossible feats because they think they can and see themselves doing it. Faith means that you can see yourself receiving all these things that you desire. I will give to thee the land that thou seest. You can never do a thing you cannot see yourself doing, or fill a place you cannot see yourself filling. Not visualizing, making a mental picture. This is a mental process and often brings wrong and limited results. It must be a spiritual realization, a feeling that you are already there. Be in its vibration. I was very much impressed with the story of a great football player who was the greatest all-around athlete in the world, who trained in a hammock. One day he was lying there drowsing in the sun, and the trainer came up to him with tears streaming down his face and said, "Jim, for the love of Mike and your country, won't you get up and out of that hammock and do something?" Jim opened one eye and said, "I was just thinking about that. I was going to send for you." "Good," said the trainer. "What do you want me to do?" "First," said Jim, "I want you to mark off 25 feet on the ground." The trainer did so. "Then what?" said the trainer. "That's all," said Jim, and then he closed his eyes and swung happily. After at least 5 minutes, he opened them and looked at the marks for a few seconds, and then closed his eyes again. "What's the idea?" yelled the trainer. "What are you doing?" Jim looked at him reproachfully and replied, "I'm practicing the broad jump." He did all his training in a hammock, seeing himself doing the broad jump. Without the vision, my people perish in lack and limitation. You may work very hard on the external and accomplish nothing if you are without vision. Vision means to see clearly where you are going, to keep your eye on the goal. All men who have accomplished big things have done this. James J. Hill, who built the Great Northern Railroad, said before a rail was laid, he heard with his inner ear the rumble of the trains and whistles of the engines. He had many obstacles to overcome, but his vision was so clear it possessed him. One thing in his favor was that his wife believed in him. It is said that it takes two to make a dream come true. Henry Ford, speaking of his mother-in-law, said she was a fine woman. She believed in me. When two of you agree, it shall be done. If you believe in yourself, others will believe in you. As you believe in yourself and the God power within, fear and anxiety drop away. You establish the vibration of assurance. This is true of an intuitive person. Every move is made under divine guidance, and he never violates a hunch. Therefore, he is always in his right place at the right time. However, it often takes great courage to follow intuition. It takes a Viking who is unafraid to sail in unknown seas. Claude Bragdon says, to live intuitively is to live fourth dimensionally. The magic path leads you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. It is invaluable in business. Never submit a hunch to someone on the reasoning plane. Those who have ears to hear, let them hear their intuitive leads and give instant obedience. Whatsoever thou wilt ask of God, God will give it thee. This is true of each one. But if we have not received all the blessings of life, we have neglected to ask, or have not asked aright. The Bible is teaching spiritual law, and we must study and use it from every angle in order to set the great machinery of asking and receiving in motion. Every motion must be greased and oiled to be kept in good working order. Active faith and expectancy keep